Welcome back to another week of Instigating with Clarkey and Drury. Clarkey, there's a lot to touch on, man. As always, it's a busy time of year, all right? There's a lot of playoffs going on. I know that your boys aren't involved in that, but
thanks for the reminder.
Yep, there's still plenty of storylines, okay? So don't worry.
As you said, I was hate watching, and last night was not a good night for me.
That was a bad night for hate watching for Mr. Clark, and we'll touch on that. Montreal, big win. Okay, series isn't over. Okay, you can still cheer for Tampa or whatever it is you're doing. They're blue and white. That works for you, buddy.
Exactly.
Listen, I feel like I do this every time we have a new guest on. Okay, and we have a lot of great guests that come on this show. If I were to rattle off all of the accomplishments and career stops that this incredible broadcaster's had, we'd waste an awful lot of time, and we want to get right down to the thick of things. Look, if you've turned a TV on or a radio dial in the last 25, 30 years, there's a very good chance you've seen this lady on your screen or coming through your speakers. Stops at Sportsnet, Vancouver TV, Breakfast TV out there on the West Coast. How about that? First female ever to host her own sports talk show on primetime television, okay, on Sportscentral. And then a little stop working for our buddy Chris Clark over at Leafs TV, okay? And then has gone on to do a number of great things. Longtime freelancer. It's just an incredible rundown of stuff that this lady's done. And we are very, very pleased to welcome our friend Jody Vance onto the program. Jody, how are you?
I'm so good. I'm blushing, boys. I'm blushing. That was a very nice introduction. I'm old. That's the summary.
Oh,
been around. Best man in the control room right there, Chris Clark. We've done some stuff, man.
And what was your favorite of Leafs TV? I think I know.
Oh gosh, man. I mean,
wait a minute.
I loved Wait a Minute. Yes,
Wade Belak.
I mean,
yeah.
Shout out to Philomena.
Yeah.
And the great editing crew. I just got to go have fun with Beeler, and I surprised him once a week with what adventure we were going on, and he was so much fun. And yeah, that was great. But I was because I was thinking which live shows, because you were always the one in my ear. I would think the Saturday pregame skate show that was like 2.5 hours of we have no idea who's gonna walk by, and I'd be like, George Strombolopoulos, George, come here for a second. Then he comes sit down and we just talk about hockey, and I love talking hockey. I love talking sports. So I'm really excited to be on Instigating.
Chris Clark in your ear for that long. I don't know about that. I have a hard time doing it for an hour.
Well, season 5, are you not? Season 5 here?
Season 5. This show. I'm lying. Yeah, we've been doing this. This is a decade now, Clarkey. It's pretty incredible, the little run we've been on here together.
We're old.
You're old. Speak for yourself, brother.
Thanks.
I want to, Jody, obviously being out on the West Coast, obviously in beautiful Kitsilano. I can't wait to get out there very soon. Obviously some sad news out of Canuck land and really, the sports media landscape in this country with the passing of the great John Garrett, who's just one of the best to ever do it. There's Cheech, unfortunately passing away earlier this week. I know you would have crossed paths with him an awful lot working out there on Sportsnet Pacific on Canucks content. Tell us a little bit about, your relationship with John and what it was that just made him so special, not only to the people he worked with, but that Vancouver market that loved him so dearly.
You know what? It's a good litmus test. If you have anything negative to say about John Garrett, it's likely that you're an asshole. Cheech was, and it's hard to speak of him in past tense, so forgive me if I get a little, as somebody who was telling everybody who would listen to me that I wanted to be a sportscaster on TV at a time where there weren't a huge number of women sportscasters, lots of women broadcasters and lots of women who did sports before me. But it wasn't typical for this sort of nerdy librarian looking girl to be like, yeah, I want to do sports. And John, very early days, was like, you know what? Good on you. Let's do this. And he would see me out doing the work, working my way up. And he was very much including me in what was a little bit of a boys club. but not in a terrible bad way, because I had a lot of really amazing men that I've worked with who definitely appreciated what I bring to the table as a broadcaster, as a sports fan and broadcaster. But John Garrett did something extra. When I first started at Sportsnet in Toronto, so moving across the country was a lot. And I think it was even while I was filling in, if memory serves. So it was like 1999. And I was going out to do some summer fill-in. And he was there. And it was like, oh, hey, because, I know you from work kind of feeling. And he immediately gave me like that, you're a good buddy sort of jab. Like he teased me a little bit, but in a way that told everybody in the room that we were tight. He wasn't, you know what I mean? Like when you're taking the piss out of one of the boys, like for lack of a better way of putting it, I had that with Cheech, and it immediately made everybody go, oh, she's one of us. It's good. It's good. Right. He made some comment about my not leaving the convertible top down on my vehicle, 6 months later when I moved there, because what happens when you leave convertible tops down in the parking lot? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. He told me. I'm like, okay. So that's the type of guy that Cheech was. And every time we crossed paths, it was like big hugs and how's the family? I feel for his family so very much. And the crew, John Shorthouse and Dan Murphy and everybody who was, there when the tragedy struck, all of them were sent home. They're not doing the rest of the series because that's how much he means to everybody. So, not just a great broadcaster, a great human being. And, oh man, I know there are so many people that are mourning his sudden passing this week in a way that, what could be said other than like,
and well said. And I think that, when you see the legacy that a guy like that leaves behind with the fan base, the outpouring of love and, support for his family, just from the fan base and everybody that were, entertained by him for good reason for many years. Yeah. He was a very, very focal point of Canucks coverage and really just BC life and entertainment in the sports world in general. So,
and he would take out his teeth to get photos. Like, Cheech, can I get a picture with you? Hold on, let me take my teeth out.
He loved having his teeth out. He'd do it on the broadcast sometimes. It was great. Whenever somebody would get in a fight, he would just, I remember always, when Kevin BX would drop the gloves, he'd take his teeth out. It was just the best. Like he was perfectly suited and, completely embedded himself out there in that fan base. And
sure did.
I never met John ever. We never crossed paths, he being out west, I guess, and me being in the east. But what I wish is we would learn more about people and how good people are when people are still with us. Because we hear so much about people after they pass and how great they were. And, like John, I it's not that I didn't like John, but I always thought he had this thing against the Maple Leafs. Right? Like he would always dig at the Maple Leafs.
But he loves the Canucks.
I know.
I dig at the Maple Leafs because I love the Canucks.
I totally get it. But just hearing all the stories now, you're like, man, that sounds like such a great guy. And,
you would have loved having hot dogs and beers with him, man.
Yeah. So
he loved a hot dog.
Too bad. Like we lost Millsy this year too, who we both worked with at Leafs TV, right? Like, and he
also
was,
just
he was
a beauty.
Great guy. Yeah. So it is. I just wish we would learn more about people, and have people talk well about people, when they're still with us. But
in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. Like Jody Vance, great person.
Like Jody Vance, absolutely. Exactly. We can set the trend here right now. And Jody, I know that you're obviously, being a Vancouverite and being very tapped into that market as well.
How the Canucks?
Obviously not. Great talking to y'all. It was really good. I'm just gonna.
Thank you, Jody. Obviously not the funnest time to be a Canucks fan right now, but hopefully brighter days ahead. But as you kind of look at the state of the organization right now, tough season. There's a lot of question marks with some guys with term on their contracts there. Specifically talking about Elias Pettersson. What is your sense of how the fan base is feeling out there right now as we head toward a very, very pivotal draft lottery?
Oh man, they'll find a way to lose the number 1 pick. I mean, come on.
Yeah, the Leafs.
But I'm just going to say that because I'm always wrong. So I will just leave that out there. I did have the opportunity the last couple of International Women's Day events, the Canucks games, to do the PA announcing, which is something that I had never done before. And the reason why I bring that up is not so much to toot my own horn, but to say that last year it was very much a mean something game that I was doing the PA. I was nervous as hell too doing it. It was like pressure. So this year when they asked me to do it, I was a little bit more relaxed about it. Not because the team was underperforming, because they were, but on the actual game night, they won again. So the 2 nights that I've done PA, they've won. And I noticed something, that when the bandwagon jumpers are not in the building, the mood is super good. The Canucks fan base, weathered, have been through it, have been all the way to the point in the dance where you can taste it and then not make it there. It's tough to be a Canuck diehard fan. And yet there are many of them. And there were people in that building just there to say, we're not giving up on you. And that made me feel really good. Because there's been a time over the years that kind of felt like it was just a bunch of people that were, feeling really, really good about how the winning was happening, as opposed to like, we're going to tough out the terrible times with our team to see better days. Now, in terms of where we're headed, I really struggle with some of what we all know is part of the issue here. Dance around the fact that ownership might be a little more involved in the hockey operations than they perhaps should be at some pivotal moments. Just ask Trevor Linden about that. And the fan base gets very frustrated with the Aquilinis, but they're the ones who've been doling out the dollars for the big contracts like Petey's. So, I mean, it's kind of like living inside a soap opera. Sometimes it's fabulous and sometimes it's absolutely terrible. But the in-between times, like you dyed in the wool. I don't have a choice. I'm like Chris Clark in the Maple Leafs. Like you don't get to be like, no, I guess not now. So
exactly. And I mean, I've been out there a number of times, been able to experience 3 or 4 Canuck games. The atmosphere is unbelievable. Like it's so much fun. Right? It's such a great fan base. And, I'm hoping for better things here. And I'm curious your perspective on what happens next here. Now, obviously, like I mentioned, the draft lottery's coming up. They've got great odds to finally land their first ever number 1 overall pick in franchise history, which would be a pretty darn good player in Gavin McKenna. Yes. Now, outside of what the outcome of that draft lottery is, if they get one, if they fall, obviously Patrick Allvin has been dismissed from his general manager duties. So I want you to put your general manager hat on.
Oh, I'm terrible at this. Drury, I can't do it.
You can do it. I can't. I, in the very least, want to hear your perspective on what you would maybe think about doing going forward to try and get this turned back on the right track.
My heart is so broken by the great players that we have seen exit over these last number of months that I'm very hard pressed, and not just players, but also amazing coaches. I mean, I'm watching the playoffs right now, as we all are, and I'm like, there's our old bench boss. There's our other old bench boss. There's our other old bench boss. Oh, look at Quinn Hughes. Oh my gosh, look at Tyler Myers. Look at, and I died a little bit inside when they traded Connor Garland, who was my personal most recent favorite little firecracker of just a heart and soul kind of player. So I look at the team and I don't want to cast any negativity towards those who have come in place of those who I've just mentioned departing, because we were invested in them. And I love that we've kept a couple of core players, and I feel for them. They love being in Vancouver and they give back to the community in a massive way. But this rebuild is going to be painful, because whoever comes in, I think as general manager, first of all, has to fit with the ownership group, as I mentioned, that can be problematic. And then they have to look at the massive salaries on some of the investments that are already in place that have no trade clause. And I mean, there's so much around that. Like, I can't even wrap my head around the math that needs to happen. And then you're talking about getting a draft pick. Well, what does that draft pick then turn into, and who and how does the development take place when the fan base is going to be like, let's go, we got the one? And like goaltending, we've been testing Thatcher Demko's injuries for a while now. Like, and we all know you got to have that piece of the puzzle. There's so much at play here. Can Petey shake off whatever it was that was making him squeeze the stick as hard as he was? Like, there's so much here that I can't fix. If I could fix it, I'd be a multi-millionaire. But, is Adam Foote going to fit with the new GM? Is that like, it's like catching feathers in the sky. Like, what? There's so many questions. Like, I don't know the answers.
So yeah, I know you don't know the answers, but is Pettersson going to be another guy then to disappear and thrive elsewhere, in your opinion?
Where does he go?
I don't know.
Who's taking that on?
I don't know. We take Morgan Riley. Maybe we'll make a trade.
I mean, but even then, it's like a change of scenery,
right?
And you know what? And to be honest, I don't know how much behind the scenes, and as somebody who has had miscarriages in my life before my very healthy child was born, they went through that this year.
Yeah.
And like, you can't really put currency on how that would rock a family. Mm-hmm. And we don't even know some of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, or the injuries that guys are playing through. And yes, they all make a great deal of money, but there's an unbelievable amount of pressure. And yeah, I don't know. I honestly, I feel very invested in Petey, because it feels like we said we were going to, and then now it's like, there's so much angst there. And this is why I'm not in hockey operations, because I'm like, my heart hurts.
It's a tough thing. And I think, ultimately, whatever group comes in there to kind of take this forward, you've got to just find a way to try and support that guy and make him a rock star again, because like that guy, like his talent just didn't disappear here. Like, this isn't Space Jam and little aliens came and like took his talent and stored it in a basketball. Maybe that is what happened. I don't know. Maybe, but like,
somebody check JT Miller's locker.
Yeah. It's call the Men in Black right now. Just the kid came onto the scene, was an immediate rock star, and that guy's still in there, man. Like, it's like a band that puts a couple bad albums out. It's like, okay, U2 put Pop out. They're still U2. And I think he's still in there, man.
And I do too. And let's hope that they don't go, okay, we're giving up on you. We're going to eat most of his salary and move you over there and watch him win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, that would be, I don't think Canucks fans would be able to stomach that. I'm curious too, to kind of change topics here in terms of sports in Vancouver. A lot of news going on right now about the Vancouver Whitecaps. Like,
painful.
What's going on out there? Like, it's kind of the opposite of the Canucks. The Canucks have tons of money. They're financially stable. The on-ice product is bad.
It's soccer, Drury. It's soccer.
It's football. The on-field product is fantastic. Thomas Muller is leading the charge, one of the great German players of all time. The on-field product, nothing wrong with that. But
last Saturday sold out.
It's incredible.
What
is the rub here? Like, what's the rub here? Because obviously there's a lot being made of the fact that the franchise can't make the revenue that they're, maybe able to in their own building out of BC Place. Talk us through the anxiety happening out there with this franchise right now. I'm confused.
As is the fan base, because the passion is certainly there for all of the reasons you just stated. The BC government owns that building. And it's a dinosaur. It's not built for soccer. Like, there should have been a stadium for this team to play in that gives the experience that the fans deserve. and it should have been in place a long time ago. And I mean, there's a million reasons why that hasn't happened, whether it's a global pandemic or political situations or lack of will on behalf of governments to prioritize that, or an ownership group that bought it for, $30 million. And now it's super successful and probably worth $400 million. And a billionaire in Las Vegas is like, I'll take that. We'll take that. And if you're the ownership group, aren't you going like, that's a good profit margin? Even though the fans are like, no, because the product is so sound. The Whitecaps experience is amazing. And as somebody who remembers the days of Bob Leonarduzzi playing and winning, and us all, as a little kid, I was, sidelines of the parade singing the songs of, what is the color soccer? Like, we were living it and loving it, and that still is alive in Vancouver. So it's the dinosaur that is BC Place Stadium. It is hard to get to. It's expensive to park at. The only way this team makes money is to charge a fortune for food and drink. And, it's a $24 beer and a $13 hot dog. Like, it's just outrageous. Like, and the fan base can't afford it. So, I can't afford it. And it's $70 to park. It's like, we should have a stadium in an accessible place where people across Metro Vancouver can get to. Swan Guard Stadium was a good candidate if it was built up better. Empire Stadium, where the BC Lions used to play way back in the day. The Lions would have way better crowds if they played in a venue that was like that. It's kind of like, I said this to my podcast partner, George Affleck, who doesn't like sports at all. We talk about news. I'm like, imagine the Kingdome in Seattle. And he's like, yes. And I'm like, okay. So watching baseball there, not great. Then they built Safeco Field. Great little ballpark. Nice ballpark with a retractable roof, outdoor, indoor kind of vibes, because it rains a lot here. And boom, you have uber success, because the other big sports story right now is the idea of a Major League Baseball team coming to Vancouver.
Yeah.
So while we're talking about one leaving, we're talking about maybe Ryan Reynolds being involved with the baseball team. Like,
crazy.
Ryan, could you just buy?
Yeah, that'd be something. I mean, when you think about Major League Baseball in this country and everything that, went down with the Expos back in the day, I think there's some people that are looking at this that, with their back up against the wall a little bit. I mean, I know I talked to my friend that lives out there, and he's like, everybody in our neighborhood doesn't believe it for a second. What's your opinion on this potentially happening? Like, I don't have a good read on the potential success or failure of Major League Baseball out there.
I can't hear Jody. Can you hear her?
We
Ryan?
may have lost Jody's audio. Potentially.
We can't hear you, Jody. If you can hear us.
I don't know if her mic...
you can hear me.
We'll figure it out.
We can't hear you. Something happened with your mic.
We'll figure it out. Clarkey, you're familiar
I'm not
with
an engineer. We went through this with Bonesy. I'm not an engineer. You're going to go out and come back in. She's going to go out and come back in. See, we know the sign language.
We know the routine, okay? And listen,
she'll give us a thumbs up when she's ready to come back on here. But yeah, I think it just clicked off at the end, and I thought, is it me? But then I heard you, so that's okay.
Well, hearing me is always a great sign. Yeah, you're well familiar with tech issues on this show, okay? Just ask our buddy Bonesy. So right after you bragged about being an engineer.
I know.
Too.
Well, no, I wasn't bragging about it. That's the best part.
No,
I was saying I'm not an engineer.
I actually think he said it. I think Bonesy brought it up, and then you were gone.
He did.
Pretty funny stuff.
Let's try it again here.
Let's see if we've got it back here. No, the mic is
working.
I don't know. And you know what, too? That's a sure SM7B that Jody's got. I'm holding a 7B right now, so I don't know if that's a mic issue. That's a rare malfunction for a sure SM7B. I'm shocked by that. Do you know what I actually think it could be?
Well, you tell her. Can you still hear us, Jody? Yeah. Okay.
It could be a faulty wire or input on the computer. The computer is always the first thing.
Unplug it and plug it back in. Isn't that what Rogers would tell you?
You tell me what Rogers would tell you, brother.
Let's try again. We got a thumbs up again. Let's try one more.
Go
time.
with my AirPods now.
Here we go.
Just,
we got it.
Okay, it's just my AirPods now. Did it?
That's
did
okay,
it?
though.
Did it?
Go.
We can hear you.
Let's go. I love though that you're keeping the mic there. It's authentic.
Well, I mean, I can.
No, it's good.
So anyway,
I wanted to. We were talking a little bit about Major League Baseball. And we wanted to hammer that with you because you brought it up, and Clarkey, I know he was hot to trot on this.
Mm-hmm.
What is your impression of this? Because the mayor came out and had some big, bold claims about his thoughts about making this happen for Vancouver. First of all, could Major League Baseball succeed in Vancouver? Is the market hungry enough for it?
I don't think so. I honestly, I don't think so. Not the way we are situated right now. We would need a new stadium that's in a more central location. That's all the things that we need with the Whitecaps, frankly, we would need for baseball. And the problem with the baseball season for Vancouver is that it's nice here. And if it's a nice day, people are like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go see a mean nothing game, 2-3 weeks in. We'll go another time. We'll go. There's a very sort of fickle vibe with booking in your sports needs, for lack of a better way of putting it. I would go. Like, there are diehard fans who would certainly go, but could we fill a stadium daily for the length of a season? And through I was living in Toronto for 10 years, through some very lean years for the Blue Jays. And I remember those really empty stands, and I fear that would be a reality in this market because of the proximity as well with the Mariners. Like, a lot of diehard baseball fans here just drive 2 hours and go see the Mariners play, especially when the Blue Jays are there. We own that stadium when the Jays are there, and the love of the Jays right now. I don't know that landing a major league team here makes everybody go, oh, well, I don't like the Blue Jays anymore. I'm going to be with the Vancouver fill in the blanks or the BC. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure it could sustain it here. There'd have to be a massive investment.
Do you think when Major League Baseball does all its due diligence that the failure of the Grizzlies would impact their decision? Maybe. Mm-hmm. That was so sad. Mm-hmm. That was right when I started doing sports on television, was when the Grizzlies were. It was like the end of their first season. I was doing like my very first ever TV sports hit at BC TV. And it was really tough because the Grizzlies had an awesome fan base.
They did.
But
they really did.
We were very sad. And, we don't all blame Big Country, but a lot do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was very nice, though.
Yes. I still think people haven't forgiven or forgotten out there. I mean, there was a great little documentary that was put together a couple years ago about it. It was really, really well done. I'd actually be a lot more optimistic about basketball returning to Vancouver before I ever believed in seeing a Major League Baseball team. But I've been wrong before, and darn it, I'll be wrong again. Speaking I think you're right. Wrong again. Yeah. She thinks I'm right, Clarkey. Speaking of wrong again, and this will really piss off my friend Chris Clark.
Okay.
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Uh-oh.
You worked at Leafs TV. You covered this team intimately for a long time.
I did.
You got to see kind of the ins and outs during an era that was not very fun to be around, to be fair. I'm curious what your thoughts are on the rumors flying around now that it could potentially be a team made up of John Chaika and Matt Sundin, a guy with Toronto and Vancouver ties that I'm sure you interacted with numerous times, potentially heading up a new hockey ops department for the Leafs. What do you make of where they're at right now and the leadership, or maybe lack thereof, of Keith Pelly right now, Jody?
Keith Pelly has a lot of pressure on his shoulders in this moment. And I have a little bit of knowledge of him away from his role with MLSE right now. Because when Scott Moore, who hired me at Sportsnet originally, was heading up Sportsnet when it launched, Keith Pelly was the top guy over at TSN. And fun fact, Scott and Keith are best friends. have been forever. The two of them were on the assignment desk at TSN back in the day. So these two have like come up. They've done every rung of the ladder, old school, real ways to earn their spots in executive suites. So when I look at where Keith Pelly finds himself today, I know how much experience he has in taking things that people believe won't work and making them work. And at the same time, he's made a bunch of really big decisions that leave him rather like an island. So to your question about Matt Sundin coming on board in a hockey ops position, that is an unbelievably good PR move, because kind of like John Garrett, and Clarkey, you can give me your thoughts on this. Matt's is a pretty solid person. Like, if you're saying negative stuff about Matt Sundin, you probably have never met him. And his hockey IQ is pretty high. So, I mean, if you want to solidify your blue and white Maple Leaf live or die forever and ever base, you do it by making a move like that, kind of like the Aquilinis did with putting Trevor Linden in charge here. But you got to let those horses run, which that's the bit of this that we're not really sure going in, because the PR only takes you so far. Will that, make it into the room? Because I've not been covering the Maple Leafs, but watching from afar, it would appear there was a culture issue. Is that safe to say, Clarkey?
Yes, I would say that is definitely safe to say. Yes. Yes.
So, I mean, maybe a guy like Matt's being there, because Keith Pelly is, certainly a sport and hockey brilliant executive. He's not an NHLer, right? And there's something to be said for beyond the executive suite. You've got to have the connection with your players that brings dividends, because boy, is it due in that hockey market. I mean, it's been painful to watch.
I just love to know what title they're going to give Matt. Is he going to be the president of this hockey team, or is he going to have a different role and Keith Pelly will be the president of MLSE and the president of the Maple Leafs? It scares me, Jody. It really scares me as a fan that they're going down a road that is not a successful one. At the end of the day, time will tell. But John Chayka, he's done nothing. He's not even in the game right now.
Trouble.
He's got himself
a lot of trouble.
And to me, it's like, well, let's hire Chayka, but let's, as you said, let's hire someone for a little PR here as well, so we're not hammered. That's not the right thing to do. You can't tell me the Toronto Maple Leafs can't attract top-notch executives to run this hockey team, and that's what scares me. I think they're out there, but I guess this search firm pulled these two guys out of their hat, so I don't know.
Well, when we were working together there, Berkey came in. Remember when they brought in Brian Burke? Coming off some great successes and coming in hard, and it was a tough couple of seasons. And it's not that Brian Burke doesn't know what he's talking about. It's the connection between here and here. And you've got to get that room and that lightning in the bottle vibe that we see in the playoffs now. You can see it's the reason why they don't play the games on paper, right? Because on paper, this team should win. Well,
Well, for sure. In the past, they should have won, that's for sure, but they didn't. And who knows? I don't know. It's as I said, it scares me as a fan, and I'm nervous about the future. I've said on this show before, I think they can turn it around without stripping it right down. I might be in the minority, but I really think they can.
It's worth a shot, because building it back up to where the key players are right now is going to take a long time and a lot of money. That's what makes me so sad about the Canucks situation right now, even though there are a couple of bones there, but there's some really necessary strategic pieces that we're going to have to wait on, because we can see them coming through the pipeline, because we're winning. We're winning out in the valley, but we're not winning downtown. So that's the bit.
The good news is they'll win the lottery. Yeah. The Leafs will win the lottery. They'll get the number one pick. And then in 3 years or 2 years, they'll have Connor McDavid. So
this podcast
things
is
are
over.
fine.
I know. I keep getting so annoyed that he keeps saying that. I don't know why McDavid would want to sign up for this mess, but
McDavid might exit the building in the first round. Like, what
I know.
Which is crazy, you know, given all that they've been through, and to come up short and not be able to get it done.
But how upset is he signing that deal? I don't know. I wouldn't be happy. They haven't shown him anything.
Well, he was happy when he signed it. And as Ray Ferraro always says, if you're happy when you signed it, you shouldn't complain about it later, right? So he's making $12.5 million. He's making plenty of money on endorsements. I think I see his betting commercial every third commercial on
and banking.
Broadcast. Yeah, I think he's going to be okay. And ultimately, I think he stays there. I want to finally ask you too, Jody, because I know this is something you're passionate about as well. The Blue Jays. What do you make of the start so far here? Exact same record as we record this on Thursday, April 30th. We have not seen first pitch just occurred in Minnesota. Same record, 14-16, that they had last year on this date on April 30th. What is your optimism level that they can go on another big heater and win the American League East?
I'm very optimistic. I am
feeling very optimistic.
I'm feeling it, you know, one of the big things, like I've done the home opener host broadcast numerous times for the Blue Jays, and I've seen some great games and have had the opportunity to be a part of the Blue Jays family for a number of years, and to see what happened last season was just so magical. And then for this year's home opener to play out the way it did, and then the very next day, not that go from the full house, oh my God, this was so exciting, and then a huge drop off of just like, yeah, well, that was one game and that was great. But just to keep that kind of vibe, like they're never out of it, you know? And that's the thing as a fan, when you're going to a ball game, and even when your team gets down early, you think, I believe we can come back and win this, which was really the MO in the successes of last season. And then they just got on the power streak, and just, you could feel it. You can feel how much those guys love each other. And even when players were moved out, because that's the business of sport, they were like, I just want you to know how much I love you guys. Like, that's rare. So I want, again, I'm often the heart-based cheering fan. My heart says optimistic.
I like this a lot. I really like this positive. We needed this. The weather's a little dumpy out here. It's not nice like BC. We needed this injection of positivity. A little sun. Oh my God. Now the podcast is over.
It's over. Thanks,
listen,
guys.
The great thing is, before we wrap up, is we talk about culture, and we saw last year how the Blue Jays they were a family. You could see it. You could feel it. And what a difference down the road at Air Canada Center for the Leafs. They're not a family.
Right.
It makes a difference, doesn't it? Just like when we were working together. You know what? We obviously producer, host have moments, but you know what? I really enjoyed working with you. We talked off air a lot about personal stuff, and it was great. And unfortunately, you're out in Vancouver now, but it was great chatting with you today. That's for sure.
I always feel like no time has passed when you and I chat. So when you, tell Drury how long the hesitation was when you said you want to be on my podcast.
Yeah. By the time you read the message, because I messaged her on Facebook, I didn't have her cell number. She's like, yes, I'm in.
And here's my cell number.
So there you go. I got it now.
And what a treat this has been. We got to get you back on. Sure. Hope sooner rather than later. And Jody, in the spirit of what Clarkey said about Cheech, I just want to say it's been a pleasure watching your career all these years. You've been an inspiration to a lot of young women and girls in terms of establishing a sports identity in this country on the air. And you should be incredibly proud of that. How about that, Clarkey? You like that?
Excellent. And there's
positivity.
There's an MLSE connection at Canucks games when Jody's doing the PA. Kat Stavankovitz is also the
that's right.
In arena
in-game host.
Who used to do the Raptors.
Yes.
I know Kat very well.
She's awesome. Yeah. Great team of women behind the scenes in that building as well. Yeah. Very, very, very proud of the work we get to do, right? Yeah. Aren't we lucky? Even when the team doesn't win, we have to be there and keep positive and think about paying it forward. Those Blue Jays last season, they made millions of new baseball fans and millions of kids dream that they could be Trey Escavage. I mean, what a story, right?
Yeah.
And the Maple Leafs will be able to recapture that at some point and understand that it's not about status and paychecks and who gets the puck for how long. They can actually start winning and believe again. Belief.
I love it. It's very I certainly hope so. More so for that guy. I just hope Clarkey can experience a nice run here.
We've kept you longer than I promised, so thank you.
No worries. I loved it. Let me know when you want me back. I'll chat anytime.
100% you'll be back. Certified friend of the show, Jody Vance, ladies and gentlemen. And when I'm out in BC, maybe
you'll take me with you, Drury.
Let's do it.
Maybe I drag you onto the plane, Clarkey, and we meet up on Granville Island.
We can
you never know.
Right up in Jody's
right over there. Yeah, Granville Island, right over there. Right over there.
Let's meet up in front of Lee's Donuts and we'll have a time. I'm well versed, Jody. I know what's up out there.
I'm just gonna drop this last nugget. My husband is a chef.
Wow.
See you in my dining room, boys.
Oh,
perfect.
Wow. And now it's becoming real. Jody, thank you so much for doing this, my friend.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
See ya.
There she is, ladies and gentlemen, Jody Vance. And Clarkey, I mean, what an incredible career she's had. I mean, you know, you look at all the incredible stops she's had, the fact that she was the first female anchor full-time on a sports show in prime time in this country. Like, look, we've had some incredible guests on this show, Clarkey. It's not every day that we have somebody who made history in this country.
That's
okay?
right. You got to bring her back on.
I've never made history.
Keep that pose. Let's just bring her back on for a second. Look at this. Look at the dog. Look at the dog.
Yeah.
What's the dog's name?
This is Calvin.
Calvin.
Oh, what a beauty.
Beautiful.
Big Canucks.
The other two are jealous now. Big Canucks guy, Calvin. Yes. Get down there.
Okay.
Yes.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks, Jody. we had to bug her one more time before we let her go. Buddy, man, there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, thanks for Jody coming on here and running down. We've talked a lot over the last couple of weeks about all the crazy stuff going on in the Toronto market. How about Vancouver right now? Might lose the soccer team. Are we getting a Major League Baseball team? Canucks, are they going to get a first overall pick for the first time? Man, it's loud out there. I can't wait to get out there and kind of get an in-person pulse. Clarkey, you really need to get out.
Can I stay at your buddy's place there, bud?
No, because they have a kid now. But we could rent a very cheap Airbnb out there.
Let's do it. I can get my taxes back. It's a good time right now. Let's go.
I just got mine. Thank you, Sean Cottrell.
Let's go. Let's go to Vancouver, and we'll do a show out there. And
we will 100%. We'll have Jody. Jody will guest host.
Yeah,
we'll get Jody on. We'll do the show from her dining room. But you know what we should do? Yeah. We'll get a permit and we'll do it in front of Lee's Donuts. That's the play. You don't know about Lee's?
No, I don't. Is it like a gourmet donut place?
Listen, dude, this place, it exploded in popularity recently when Seth Rogen talked about it on a show. Notable Vancouverite Seth Rogen. It's this little donut place. So Granville Island is kind of similar to what you and I would know as like the St. Jacobs Farmers Market. It's this big farmers market on Granville Island. There's restaurants there. But the market, they sell fresh produce, a lot of fish, fresh fish. You got to have some candied salmon out there with me. Okay. I'm going to get you down with the full tour. I don't even want to tell you about it because I want to show you live in person. But in Granville Island, in the market, there's this little shop. It's called Lee's Donuts, and they make redonkulously good donuts, brother.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm in for
right
sure.
Out front.
I've been to Vancouver one time and one time only, and that was for the NHL draft. Actually, I lied. I did go to Seattle, and we flew into Vancouver, but we didn't spend any time there. It was when I was covering, doing some work for TFC, and they played Seattle in their first game of the year after they signed their big. Who was that big guy they signed? TFC.
Are you referring to Jermaine Defoe, the guy on the commercials where it's a bloody big deal?
Yeah,
remember those commercials? Yeah, it was Jermaine Defoe who didn't really work out tremendously.
Jermaine Defoe, and his first game was in Seattle. So I went there, and
I think he scored. Didn't he?
I think he did. Yeah, what a great stadium though that was, where the Seahawks,
The Seattle
play.
Sounders. Yeah.
and
The 12.
Beautiful. I think it was Xbox or something stadium when I was there, or Microsoft or something.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Just an incredible place. West Coast, best coast. They say it for a reason. I can't wait to get out there.
Yeah, but never spent time in Vancouver other than work. So I'd like to go on a personal level. So here we go. Let's book it. When are we going? Just give me a heads up.
Let's go this summer. Let's go in like July.
Okay.
We'll do it. Tremendous. And we're gonna get in the ocean. It's gonna be great, dude.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. We're doing it. Okay, we're locked in.
Are you okay to travel with?
What? Am I okay to travel with?
You okay? Yeah.
Dude, I'm the easiest guy to travel with in the world.
Yeah, well, you never know.
I take a little backpack with my clothes rolled up in there,
our listeners don't want this, to stand in the way of our show or anything if we don't travel well together. I'm easy too, so it's fine. Okay, let's move on. What are we going to talk about?
I bet you are, brother. Well, talk about travel. I mean, the Minnesota Wild are certainly hoping they don't have to do too much more of that to Dallas, as they have an opportunity as we record this to close that series out. You predicted they'd win the cup. I'm loving what Buffalo's doing. Wish they could have got that one out as Pasternak squeaked one past in overtime. But the vibes, I might have to go down to a game in the second round. I'm not confident that they're going to beat the Bruins. That Buffalo crowd is like something out of a movie. It looks incredible what's going on down there. I can't believe it. Montreal. Do you want to take a moment to,
dude? It's like the games are so close. Like, let's be honest,
they are, man.
The games are so close. Even like how many games? 3 of them have gone to overtime.
It might be the best series of the opening round.
I think it's been the closest for sure. It could go either way, but unbelievably in my mind, Dobish has been out playing Vasilevsky, and that's the difference right now. Like, he has. Let's be honest. He has. It hurts me to say it, but he has.
That goal that Vasilevsky let in for the winner.
Yeah, that was a leaky
winner. That's one you don't see him let in very often. So maybe they're in their heads a little bit. And boy, Game 6 in Montreal on Friday night, with a chance to move on for the first time since they went and lost in the Cup final to Tampa in the COVID bubble year.
Yeah.
So,
and then it will be Montreal and Buffalo, which would be interesting.
Oh my God, Montreal, Buffalo. Oh God, I love it. I
do miss it though. You must too, right? You must miss watching your team, because I'm missing it after 9 straight years. I'm missing it.
I mean, like, I would have preferred Washington made it, obviously, and I mean they were the number 1 seed last year, so a lot of injuries, just some drop off, and some guys took a step back. Yeah, I mean, I would love to be watching them, but I got to say, I'm pretty entertained by what's going on in this first round so far.
It's fun hate watching, as you mentioned, so that's what I've been doing.
Well, because the thing with hate watching is there's just no anxiety attached to it.
Yeah,
you just hate watch, and you personally have nothing riding on it.
Right.
So you just kind of sit there. Maybe you lay a couple bets down and go,
don't do
Montreal
that,
under 1.5 goals.
Yeah.
That's what you do. Right. So, it's been impressive. And the Jays, I mean, it was looking pretty dark there for a little bit when they were 7-13, and now they've come roaring back. They've won 3 straight series. Okay, like we're starting to see, and I want to give you props here. This has been a real positive episode. We should have Jody on more, because it's been real. I feel so optimistic about sports right now. Okay, I want to give you props. This is Mr. Positivity here.
Yeah,
you were the one on this show about a month ago that said to our friend Rob Longley, who does a great job covering.
We asked who the X factors were going to be this season, right?
I posed the question, who do you think could be an X factor? I said Dalton Varsho. He's starting to turn it around a little bit. He had a terrible start. You were the one that came on here and laid your balls out on the table, okay, and said, I think that Louis Varland is going to be the closer of this team by the end of the season, and far sooner than the end. And right now, you're looking like a pretty smart guy, brother. I got to give you props.
Can you pull that clip, please, and put that on social media this week? Give me some props on social media, will you? Come on.
You know what? I will.
Okay.
I will do
Perfect.
it because this is positive. This show called Instigating has turned into positivity with Clarkey and Drury. It's
right.
really
You take this clip here that we're talking about right now, and then when I go now, you put on the clip I did before the season in 3, 2, 1, now.
Right. Yes.
Okay?
The VAR.
I give you a cue and everything.
The Varlin clip. Thanks, buddy. I want to tell you though, I got to swing it back to a little bit of negative town. Okay. I genuinely want your thoughts on like what you're hearing out of the Leafs right now. And Steve Simmons, this Chayka thing, Simmons wrote a pretty gnarly piece on this guy in his column today. And it didn't cast a good light on him. And now you're hearing rumors that Ty Domi might be involved. Gary Roberts might be involved. Like,
okay, I like Gary Roberts.
Yeah, I like Gary Roberts too, but he's a fitness guru. Like, what does he know about hockey?
We don't know, do we?
Maybe
he knows a lot.
I don't know.
Maybe he knows a lot. And like,
maybe he does.
It was funny because when I was watching the Olympics, and I think Matt's had something to do with the Sweden team during the Olympics because they focused on him.
I think he was involved. Yeah.
The TV cameras were on him, and I'm like, that'd be a good guy to be with the Leafs. And it looks like it might happen. But again, as I said, when Jody was on, it scares the crap out of me what's happening right now. And I'm not in a position, obviously, to make the call. I wish I was, but
what scares you more, that Chayka is involved, or that all these former players are involved?
No, Chayka for sure.
Okay.
Like, as the general manager Chayka, who's never had any success, never won anything, why don't we surround this team with some winners here? Well, isn't that what it's all about? Get some winners in the organization who have won something, not a guy who was suspended, kicked out of the league, fined for doing illegal things at a draft combine. I don't know. Those are the things that I see. I did ask ChatGPT yesterday if John would be a good candidate.
Okay.
And it did come up. There was a few good points that ChatGPT came up with why he could be. But because I think that's what Keith Pelly's doing to pick this guy. It just from the top down, it's concerning me. From the top down, from Pelly down, everything is scaring me right now. I hope I'm wrong, Drury. I hope I'm wrong. But
and again, like his name surfaces and you're going, well, is his name just surfacing because he would turn into a yes man for Pelly and his perceived analytics driven full steam ahead with a computer screen running this team?
Yeah.
Which, yes. And I mean, him
probably yes.
And him and Megan own a stats analytics company that provides analytics to a lot of different teams, NHL teams. They do work for some baseball teams, other hockey teams, and to great success. Like,
where's Eklund? Maybe we should bring Eklund in because he was a business.
Right. I just
I don't know.
It is strange. Like, it is jarring to me. Like, again, like John Chayka might be a great executive. I don't know, because like you do have to say with a caveat that like things down in Arizona were not exactly running
correct
by the board.
He didn't have the resources he would have here. There's no doubt about that.
So that has to be like a little bit of a side asterisk when we discuss this guy.
I agree.
But much like you said earlier, I'm just confused as to what it is that MLSE wants to do here in terms of, let's be honest, taking on quite a bit of risk, bringing a guy like this in who's got a bit of a checkered past with the league. Like, Gary Bettman was not happy about that situation that went down at that illegal draft combine training thing that they pulled off, which cost the Coyotes draft picks as well. And they were fined, which, I mean, the league was basically fining themselves at that point. They were financing the Coyotes. So I wonder if Gary fined himself. I wonder if he looked in the mirror and said $150,000, put it in the piggy bank. I don't know. I said terrible joke. I'm confused, like you said, though, as to like, this is the Toronto Maple Leafs, and like, this is something you're willing to risk.
Right. That's what I'm
like.
getting at.
I could understand this if it was the Seattle Kraken, or something, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, like, have you heard any whispers about like what Ron Francis is going to be up to? Like the Leafs aren't calling Ron Francis. Maybe they already have. We don't know, right? It's all
and in that sense, like I think Matt Sundin could make a good, president of hockey ops or whatever his title. Like I really do. I think he's an extremely smart guy. He's an extreme. People say he was the best captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs ever. Like I was around when he was the captain. He treated me with class every time I met him and talked to him.
He treated everybody with one of the classiest players ever, really. I have no doubt that he could serve, in a very efficient capacity as a president of hockey ops. Because again, like, people are like, well, what experience does he have? Well, what experience did Joe Sakic have?
Right.
Or Rob Blake, or they learned and they figured it out, some more successfully than others. Sure. Like, I think Joe's loving what he's up to out in Colorado. Who's to say that Matt Sundin couldn't go in there? And right. I love that it would be a hockey ops and not the general manager. He could be an ancillary piece that would have really good insight on what makes players effective to the general manager and be involved in those discussions. I wouldn't want him to be the general manager. And then you look at, some of the names getting tossed around here, and Leaf fans seem pretty underwhelmed. And again, I don't know anything about these guys, like from a personal
like Mike Fuda apparently was. I was talking to Mike Gentili, a friend of our show,
Mike Fuda,
and he works with Mike Fuda, and the rumor was that he was one of the finalists, and he's a winner. He's won in this in the NHL. He's won. He's actually done stuff. Unlike Chaika, and unlike this other guy, whoever it is. I don't even know who this other guy is.
And again, I don't necessarily think it's like imperative they hire somebody that's won a Stanley Cup, because loads of executives that won cups over the last number of years hadn't won one before until they won one over the last couple of years, like Julien Brisebois, and go down the list, right? So, but I do think I would rather have somebody that's been involved in the battle and had success with a team that's done well, like Scott White out of Dallas, potentially, rather than a guy that was exiled from the league for 6-7 years because he illegally, worked out draft prospects. One of the stupidest scandals in league history that I've ever seen, right?
Yeah.
And again, I don't know how much solely John Chaika is to blame for that, but it's part of his legacy that he has to wear. And I'm just not sure that it makes a lot of sense to me.
They hired a search firm, Drury. They hired a search firm.
But he's one of their clients.
To come up with the best.
He's one of their clients.
If that's the case, then this is the biggest farce on the face of the earth.
That's what we said 3 weeks ago,
Keith
right?
Pelly obviously is friends with this guy too.
Buddies helping buddies.
Buddies helping
buddies. The Leafs
buddies.
cannot turn into an old boys club again.
Wow.
With Harold Ballard just hiring a guy. I don't know, brother. It's again, there's a lot of runway left here. Time will tell. We're about to enter May.
Yeah, let's get on with this too. Like, what's going on? Like, it's May. Like, they're about to have the draft lottery soon. They're about to do stuff. It'd be nice to have a guy in charge when they're doing like.
I'll just say, I'll start getting nervous for you as well if it's Chaika, because quite frankly, he has an awful lot to prove.
Here's the other thing.
Yeah, quickly.
Where are all these leaks coming from?
I'm sure from the firm.
Well, we got to remember too that one of the sports broadcasters is also owned by Rogers in this country. So anyway, I just don't like all this.
You said it, not me.
I don't like all this, all the leaks. Like,
I don't know, brother.
When I was there, when Brendan Shanahan was there, not that I was a fan because Brendan didn't win. Nothing came out early with Brendan Shanahan. He made sure.
And Lou,
came out.
Keep in mind, Lou was there.
Exactly.
The Godfather.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, we got to wrap up. Good show. Thank you very much.
Stuff. Thank you, Jody Vance.
Flew
Really
by.
appreciate it. Follow her on social media. Follow us on social media at Instigating Pod. Please make sure to subscribe to our show. Catch us on YouTube, Rogers TV, all your favorite podcast apps. We will be back next week, maybe with a new Leafs GM here on Instigating with Clarkey and Drury. Stay tuned.